Hello Internet! Today's video is about turning a bowl in combination with resin. Unfortunately, defects in the wood often appear only during the turning, with the result that your bowl becomes smaller and smaller. This time I went a different way. To get the desired shape out of my bowl, I had to supplement the missing piece with resin. Here are a few words about the implementation. I use a mini lathe, and the current workpiece is pushing the envelope in terms of size and weight. In addition, I was a little impatient and overdid it at the beginning with the speed. In short, you can do better and safer. But I think the result looks very good and interesting. All in all, it's worth to share it with others. Maybe this is a suggestion or a problem solving for your own project. This video is not a tutorial or instruction to imitate. It's just a demonstration for entertainment as I proceeded. Please take care of your safety and note the disclaimer in the video description. Take care, have fun, and let's have a look into the video. Basically, a typical start for turning a bowl. The original plan was a more rectangular shape with two rounded sides. Unfortunately, the wood had some really bad spots, and so the shape got smaller and smaller. I had too much vibration of the lathe, as I said before, because I did run the lathe too fast, and I also should have left out the extension of the tailstock. And last but not least, I need to make the machine table heavier so there is less vibration during turning overall. But more about that in one of the upcoming videos. The turning did take its typical course. I roughly cut the shape on the bandsaw, and now I'm starting with the bottom of the bowl and will later on move to the inside of the bowl. I started with a roughing gouge here, and then I did use a bowl gouge because that works better because of all the cross grain of the wood. Because of the angular shape of the workpiece, I had too much unbalance and I wanted it to come first. Here I create a tenon using my bowl gouge to connect the bowl to the jaw chuck later on. I use the chisel for the last touch and to create the correct angle for the tenon to fit perfect in my chuck. A recess would be easier to finish, but the wood already had some cracks and the recess could break out. The tenon is quickly graded, and later we see an easy method to remove the tenon. But it makes extra work. is the problematic part, and as I realized it at the first time, I wanted to make the part smaller. But then I decided to go another way and added the missing part later with resin. But before we can do that, we have to put more work in the outer and the inner shape of the bowl. I did use the Ellsworth bowl gouge to create this kind of overhanging edge or rim. And of course I did use some smaller chisels for the detail work. The wood had some dry cracks. For me, this is part of the design, and the wood is dry enough so that no further cracks appear. To be on the safe side, I use some super glue with activator for the biggest cracks. Now it's time to continue with the inner side and therefore use the jug to hold the bowl. Drilling a hole in before makes it a lot easier to estimate the depth of the bowl and also to turn the inner side of the bowl, as you can see here. By the way, if you like the video, then leave a like and or subscribe to my channel. This supports my work and motivates me to produce more videos. Feel free to make suggestions and leave your ideas for more video content in the comment sections. Well, now it's time to get rid of the missing part. Therefore, I will mark the shape of the cut and will use the sander to have a clean, nice edge before I add the resin. I didn't want to have an even color but blue streaks. For this I have mixed the color pigments carefully from above. In addition, I have added some gold metal foil. In my opinion, this fits very well with the applewood. I used some leftover resin to fill some cracks in the wood and to stabilize the cracks in the end grain to prevent further cracking. Try to find a glue with a low melting point to glue the mold for the resin. Then you can simply use a hot air gun to carefully melt the glue and remove the mold piece by piece. But please don't put too much heat on the resin. Looks interesting, doesn't it? But wait until I turned it to fit to the shape, sanded and polished it. Now I had to find an answer for the question how to get rid of the excess portion the easiest. I decided to use the bandsaw. To do this, I set the bandsaw table at the right angle and cut the housing on the bandsaw. By the way, this is a wonderful opportunity to screw up everything properly shortly before the end. But everything went fine, so far so good. Now all sides of the workpiece must be cleaned with a fine cut. For this purpose you can use a scraper. But the resin components must be handled with care. I have found that working with a scraper can easily cause the resin parts to break off. So I sharpened all my turning chisels again and worked mainly with my bowl gouge. finer the cut, the less sanding has to take place. Normally I only grind from 80 grit sandpaper to a maximum of 400 grit paper. For the resin surfaces I went in steps up to a 2000 grit sandpaper, which leaves a very nice surface and you can hardly see any scratches anymore. I ended up using a purchased combination of beeswax and linseed oil varnish, and it made the wood and the resin parts glow perfectly. To get the combination to really penetrate the wood, it's best to have the bowl still clamped on the machine running. Then the friction heat helps to make the beeswax and the oil nice and liquid so it can penetrate deep into the pores. Finally, I turned off the tenon and just put a cloth evenly over the jaw shock and then clamped it down. That worked here, as you can see, quite well, but it is not a very stable way to clamp the workpiece and you cannot work very accurately. All in all, I'm satisfied with the bowl, and in my opinion the result looks very good. Working with resin is really fun and you can try out many interesting ideas here. Maybe not to the extent of Nick Sametti. If you know him, he has its own YouTube channel. This is maybe a little bit too much of a good thing. But here and there I find the use of resin also suitable for more wooden design objects. But that was it for today. I hope watching has been as much fun as making the bowl. I wish everyone good luck with his own ideas and I would be happy to see you on my channel again. It would be great if you could leave a like or a comment to give me a little bit insight what you were thinking. Maybe you would also like to see more videos of this kind, then let me know and subscribe to my channel. The next video that is coming up is a carving video with a special shape for a bowl, and then in the pipeline is a special wood turning video about my mini lathe and what is possible and what the limits are. So until then, thanks for watching and see you soon on my channel. Bye, Friedhelm.